What's good? We back. It's Box Clinic and more back talking that boxing-ish. Last night, Gilberto Ramirez did his thing versus Habib Ahmad and asking who the best super middleweight right now in the world is. And a lot of people, act like, oh, this guy's not in the tournament and, how can he be the best? I mean, the tournament doesn't even have, arguably don't even have the top 3 super middleweights in the tournament, right now. The tournament, like Jesse Vargas said, it's a gimmick. It's basically a European tournament to make the UK guys or the people from Europe look good. And the real test will be once the winner of that tournament faces a guy like David Benavidez or Gilberto Ramirez. You know what I'm saying? It has some adequate competition in the tournament, but it has a lot of improving. Callum Smith hasn't fought on the upper echelon level. Chris Eubanks haven't fought on the upper echelon level of the super middleweight division. And George Groves, when he stepped up to the upper echelon elite level, he got beat 3 times. 2 times by Froch and 1 time by Badou Jack. So it's question marks, And I think, the division it's got a lot of question marks. It's still got a lot of room for growth. Everybody in this division, has something to prove still. Champions, non-champions. Guys that fought for world titles that failed, like Andre Dirrell. A lot of these guys have question marks. And it'll be nice to see if they really got a tournament, with all the best talent in there. Not the fill-ins like the Robert Brandt, the Yurdaman, and whoever else, filling in that tournament. The thick of it, to rank these guys, will kind of be premature until they start fighting, better competition. You know what I'm saying? The best win by any of these guys in this division may be Groves over DeGale a long time ago, or DeGale over Andre Dirrell, so it's still a lot to prove. Ramirez has only beat Arthur Abraham. Benavidez, he's only 20 years old. Jesse Hart, he stepped up and failed. Caleb Plant, he ain't been on that level yet. Anthony Dirrell, you know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of unproven, people at this division, but this division got a lot of potential to be great. To predict who's going to be the best, that's tough. Benavidez is very, very young and very, very green. In the shoulder in the Ronald Graville fight, he said he was injured, so we're going to see how he comes back with a vengeance. He may be the most talented guy, the most talented world titleist at that class right now. Ramirez just seems to have a size advantage, and nobody knows how good Ramirez is because he ain't been in there tough. He ain't been in there with none of the guys that hold titles or any of the guys that's currently in the top 10, I don't believe. That's the top 10 super middleweight. Callum Smith is another guy we look at and say he got a lot of potential. I picked him to win the World Boxing Super Series tournament. I'm not sure about it now, but he's a guy that got great size, and you don't know. And Chris Eubanks Jr. is a guy that just arrived to the super middleweight division. Groves, we seen him versus the elite at super middleweights and lose. Darrell, we seen him lose. Hart, we seen him lose versus world titleist. So, you can say Ramirez, if you don't consider Jesse Hart a top 10, guy, you can say Ramirez did be the top 10 guy currently. But, it's difficult to kind of decipher what's going to happen. And one of my personal favorites is Junior and Smith and, Caleb Plant. Caleb Plant definitely has the skills to outbox anybody. It's just we need to see him on the elite level. I think Porky Medina is a good fight for him to see where his chin and how he's dealing with the pressure from a fighter like Porky Medina, who knocked out Jalen Love, who then got knocked out by David Benavidez, but gave Benavidez a nice little fight. And that's the kind of step-up fight that Benavidez needed versus Porky Medina on his way to a world title fight versus a guy like Ronald Thrill Garville. So Caleb Plant going to get an opportunity to face Porky Medina. In the card on FS1, on the undercard, Devin Alexander and Victor Ortiz, and then the main card gonna go Showtime with Benavidez, Ronald Graville, and Rios and Danny Garcia. So I'm very interested. Caleb Plant might be the best boxer here. When you're talking about still in his prime and still, got all his faculties, unlike Andre Dirrell, and he can box real good. It just seemed, can he, go for the kill if he have to? Does he have enough power to get that respect from the other guy? You look at Chris Eubanks Jr., is he big enough where he's going to slide back down to super middleweight? I think he's grown, his attributes has grown, his experience has grown, to be a better fighter. You know, Callum Smith, he's a guy that's a good fighter, but again, hasn't been proven. So it's hard to decipher who's the best super middleweight right now. I'm just going to give it to Gilberto Ramirez off of clout. But it definitely could change if these guys actually start mixing it up with each other. And don't forget Andre Derrill. Even though his punch resistance, seems to be gone, he's going to be rematching Ukazi again. If he can put it all together, he seems to be motivated in the interviews that I've seen him with. He has the potential-wise and skill and athletic-wise, he's the most talented guy in the division. But he's old and he's past his prime. And if he can rekindle that flame and get back to basics, on the right night, on a perfect night, if any of these guys are at their best and he at his best is better than everybody here in my opinion. But I think that ship has sailed for him. But right now I'm gonna go with Ramirez. Ramirez right now. We see how the World Boxing Super Series tournament unveils. I believe Ramirez is right now it ain't steady right now. He'd be my number one. Benavidez is my number two. And then everybody else got to get in where they fit in. But like I said, this can change at the drop of a dime if these guys start mixing it up. Hopefully it's not a case where, these guys all sit there and choose not to fight each other and everybody move up or move back down and we never knew who was the best out of this crop, because this is a talented crop. But let me know what y'all think. We out.